From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. A prominent Canadian business leader is in legal trouble after being charged with 5 sex-related offenses. Frank Stronach, founder and former head of Magna International, was arrested yesterday following an investigation by Peel Regional Police. The incidents, police say, involve more than one victim and occurred over multiple decades. Constable Tyler Bell says Stronach was released on conditions and is set to appear at a Brampton, Ontario courthouse next month. The head of Calgary's Emergency Management Agency is asking locals to observe the calls for water conservation following a massive break in a water main feeder line. Sue Henry says residents can do their part by taking shorter showers, doing less laundry and dishes, and flushing toilets fewer times. She says that even though everyone has been asked to cut back their water usage until the damaged pipeline is fixed, they are still getting complaints of people watering their lawns or still operating automated sprinkler systems. Some 9,000 Canada Border Services Agency workers are not going on strike, not yet at least. The border workers were set to strike as early as 4 p.m. Friday if they hadn't reached a deal, but have decided to extend negotiations. Most frontline border officers are designated as essential, which means, technically, they can't stop working during a strike. However, union officials note that the tactic known as work to rule could be used, and that would see employees doing their jobs exactly as outlined in their contracts. An animal advocacy group says a staggering number of exotic animals have managed to escape captivity here in Canada over the last 40 years. An interactive map produced by World Animal Protection Canada highlights more than 200 events since 1985 in which animals like tigers, snakes, and alligators escaped their enclosures or their homes and, on occasion, attacked. Wildlife Campaign Manager Michelle Hammers says many people would be surprised to learn the kind of pets some of their neighbors are keeping.
People can have hundreds of snakes in their houses and nobody will ever find out until there's a fire or something else. But nobody's tracking them. We just don't know where these animals are at, which is a huge animal welfare problem. If you want to address illegal trade, right, is impossible now because we're not monitoring it. Invasive species risks.
Hammers is hoping the database will compel the public to demand change and that governments will respond by barring the ownership of most animals that are not native to Canada. And finally, a significantly sized die-off of fish near Cardigan PEI has conservation officers scratching their heads. Around 150 dead fish were tallied as of Friday afternoon. A key focus of the investigation is on water temperature and dissolved oxygen readings. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the final push for the Stanley Cup begins tonight, with the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Panthers in Florida. Now, the Oilers are looking to win their 6th cup and first since 1990. They did, however, come close back in 2006, but ultimately lost to the Carolina Hurricanes in 7 games. Kevin Gausman will take the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays this afternoon as they continue a 3-game series in Oakland against the Athletics. The Jays last night dropped a 2-1 decision to Oakland after J.J. Bleday hit a walk-off home run off Blue Jays reliever Chad Green. And finally, Adam Hadwin of Abbotsford, BC, is tied for second at the PGA's Memorial Tournament, where he and Victor Hovland are 3 shots behind Scotty Scheffler heading into the 3rd round. A top 3 finish could put Hadwin on Canada's Olympic team for the upcoming Paris Games. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.